Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I am absolutely certain that you are having a fantastic day. I certainly am. And I recently, a little while back, I did a video, and I do talk about vibration and frequency and all that a lot. And I talked about how, and I mentioned in how the problem is with like manifestation. Okay, we have all these self-help gurus and all these law of attraction gurus and all of these people. They tell you what you need to do to manifest the life of your dreams and all of those things, and that's fine. It's fine. I'm not disagreeing with any of those things. But the problem is convincing your subconscious mind that it's true. See, that's where the hang up is because our minds is not what's going on in between our ears here. That's your brain. And while the brain is an amazing thing, it's still a like a computer processor, it's the and a transmitter back and forth between your higher self outside of this, your true self that is jacked into this construct through your brain for the purpose of having an experience. But so your imagination actually exists outside of this. It exists out in the field. And in that, where we live outside of time and space, there are no constraints of that, such as like with natural law. In this construct, in this realm, we do have time. We do have distance. We do have all of those things. Like, for example, the speed of light, that would be considered the speed limit of this reality. Okay. But outside of this, that doesn't exist. So when we create in our imagination the thing that we have created, it is manifested instantly. It is. But it's not necessarily manifested instantly here in this 3D matrix or 3D realm. Because, well, for one, your subconscious mind that goes on inside your brain, that thing that's on auto, has your body running on autopilot, it's probably not convinced. It probably does not believe you when you say, hey, this thing is, I created this in the field. Subconscious probably is like, I don't believe you because I don't see it. But we have to bypass that. But anyway, that's one of the issues I have with self-help gurus is they don't really get into that a lot. Yes, they do talk about the subconscious. I understand that part. But that's what they mean. They don't explain what they mean when they say some of the things they say. And I'm one of those people. I want to know what you mean. I'm like, what do you mean, right? What do you mean exactly? So, like for example, and here I was doing this all for a big old setup right now. Hey, loved one. By the way, since we are on the subject, because we're not, please hit the like button for me. I would so appreciate it if you would do that. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please do so. I would so appreciate it. I truly, truly would help me grow the channel. It kind of is joined at the hip with my audio podcast, but I don't talk about the woo woo stuff on the podcast anymore. So that's what I do on here, and it's a lot of fun. At least yeah. So with regards to frequency, let me I made myself some notes, of course. The void, okay, is pure potentiality. It is. I said that the word void is is a little misleading, only because it implies there's nothing there. But it would only appear as though it is completely at rest. But there's an explanation for that. Okay, now the difference. Now, see, when we talk about frequency and vibration and things, some people don't think that the frequency and vibration are interchangeable, and they are very close, but not the same thing. So, like with a pendulum swing, we can use that to illustrate vibration. So when a pendulum swings, right, it has to swing to the right and then over to the left, and it goes an equal amount of time. It goes equally both ways. I guess from your perspective, I'm going backwards here, but this is my left and this is my right. Anyway, so But every time it cycles through, it goes, huh, huh, and back. That is a oscillation. That is, and how many times it does that in a second is what its frequency is. So a vibration or an oscillation back and forth is how many times it does that per second is its frequency. Now, one thing that we have learned in Stalking the Wild Pendulum by Itzhak Bentov is that anything that oscillates, and you can watch a clock whenever its pendulum swings, there is always that just I don't know, fraction of a second when the pendulum actually stops. So it goes from here and it kind of stops and then it comes back here and then it stops and then it goes back. But so the creator and in the void, the reason why it would appear to be at rest and the reason why it is outside of time and space is because when that oscillation, when that stops, that's when there is no movement. And movement is time. Okay. So, but it oscillates so fast that it's always at rest. It's at rest and then really fast, and at rest and then really fast, and at rest. It's constantly at rest on that split second whenever it's before it goes back the other way. But it goes back and forth so fast because it's such a tight oscillation, tight vibration, that it is, for all intents and purposes, always at rest because it's always at that crest. That's very interesting. And that would explain to you how it is, how in the field, in the void, it is pure raw energy. And it can, with that, we can manifest anything, right? Because and it's frequency to vibration to oscillation. Actually, it's the other way around. Oscillation is a vibration, and how many times it vibrates per second is what its frequency is. But it's like the difference between God or the creator in the void. It oscillates at such a high clip that it appears to always be at rest because it's always at that crest. And the space between is so microscopic that it appears to just be a flat line, but it's just always at that crest. To put it in perspective, like a piece of gravel or something that's very low vibrational, we could almost say that that's vibration is also appears to be at rest, except it's because it moves, its oscillations are so slow. It goes so painfully slow, right? So that's why that appears to also be at rest. It's like, well, so you're saying that God and a piece of gravel are the same thing? Not at all. They just from an observer's point of view, it might be like they both appear to be at rest. Well, that's just the appearances. So yeah, I'm not saying God is a piece of gravel. Okay, so there's that. But like for example, we exist in that field also, and we have access to that infinite energy that is outside of time, right? Whenever it is at that crest outside of time and it is at the crest, geez, you know what I mean? But that's when time stops. There is no time there because there is no movement. Okay. Like, for example, speed of light, movement, that is the speed limit for our construct, would be the speed of light. But in the field, we can, in the field, in our imagination, we can create, we can manifest, we can imagine anything, right? Now, in order to bring it into our physical 3D, we have to understand that one, it has to be physically possible, right? We're not going to manifest wings to grow out of our backs. Okay? It has to be physically possible, and it has to conform to natural law. For example, speed of light. That's an example of natural law. Things that govern our this construct. This construct does have governors. It keeps everything in check so that nothing gets out of hand. It's like a checks and balances system. But it has to conform to the governors of this construct. So it's like when people say, "Oh, you can manifest anything." Well, you can manifest anything that's possible, is that as long as it stays within the natural law. That is true. But as I said before, the biggest problem is your subconscious mind doesn't believe it. As soon as you imagine something in the field, it does exist. It became manifest in the field. It's like, yeah, Matt, but I want to experience it in my 3D reality. I know you do. I want you to. We all do. But we've got to make sure that whatever it is we are manifesting, for one, conforms to natural law so that we can bring it here. Two, we have to also understand that our subconscious mind will begin working with the field to make that happen here if it believes it's true. That's the kicker. That's what I said in this other video before. Our subconscious mind must be convinced that it is true, that it has been created in the field. So that way it can get here. But now we do have to understand there is natural law. Not only does it have to conform to natural law, but we also have to understand that physical things don't manifest instantaneously here like they do there. Right? We do have the constraints of natural law, such as speed, distance, and time, things like that. Anyway, loved one, I just wanted to put that out there for you, because there's a lot of people who talk about manifestation and they talk about lots of things, but they really never put any real context behind it as far as like, how does this work? How does that, make it make sense? That kind of thing, right? So I'm like, maybe that's what I'm here for. Is that just, like, when they say that things are outside of time, out there, like God or the creator and the universe and the void is outside of time, that's how it's outside of time. It's an oscillation that's so fast that it's always at that crest. So it's always at rest. When there's no motion, there's no time. Anyway, so there you go, loved one. That's what I got. If you would, please, again, follow me on X. If you would, you can find me there, Matt Stevens, MSA. It's Matt Stevens, MSA. MSA is short for My Sober Addiction, which is the audio podcast that I host. But I'm on X a lot because you can post anything you want there on the fly. You can communicate with people on the fly. I mean, we can interact and all of that stuff in real time. It's just nice for that. So find me on X and follow me there if you would, please. I would appreciate that. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, I would really ridiculously appreciate it if you would do that. So anyway, loved ones, that's what I got. I do love you. I do. And I'll be back directly.